At least four individuals are confirmed dead following the onslaught of Typhoon Odette. Some LGUs are now crying for help to assist their residents in rebuilding their lives. The country's COVID-19 positivity rate drops to below 1%, the lowest since April. And some 2.3 million jabs were administered during the second national vaccination drive. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Riza Diaz. Typhoon Odette has leveled Dinagat Island to the ground after making a landfall in the area on Thursday. Giving us the latest over there, we have Dinagat Island spokesperson, Mr. Jess Crisostomo. He's joining us over the phone. Sir Jess, good evening.
Good evening, Risa. Good evening to all the viewers.
So just can you give us an estimate or the exact number on how much damage did Typhoon Odette cause in the province?
Typhoon Odette actually leveled the Nagat Islands to the ground, as you already said. We estimated at least 90% damage in our capital municipality. Most of the houses, most of the residences of the people have been destroyed. The roofs, the walls were torn like paper from the houses. Many people are left homeless. Even the provincial capital did not survive the onslaught of the typhoon. Right now, almost all the buildings of the provincial capital are either damaged or completely destroyed. Even our containment centers for isolation for our COVID patients in our provincial capital were also, the roofs were torn. Our COVID patients were left. We found different isolation for them through our buses in the provincial government, and then we released some of them who already recovered in the past few days. And right now we're focusing on recovery. Many of what we need right now is food and water. We have to reestablish our telecommunications, our electricity, and our access to running water. Right now, Governor Kakabagaw is on the ground managing all our operations when it comes to ensuring that everyone is fed by setting up community kitchens and ensuring that people would have roofs in their houses, at least temporary ones, and assisting them in whatever they need, and to show them that their government is still here and that we are still operating as their duty bearers, as people who should deliver basic services.
So just you mentioned that you're trying to restore power and signal in the areas. So as of the moment, there is still no power in most of the areas of the province?
There is actually no power everywhere in the whole province and no telecommunications. I'm actually in Butuan City right now just to find a way to communicate with the outside world so we could find help from wherever we can, from the people all over the country, from even from our international friends and partners. And we set up a base here in Butuan City as our center for logistics and operations to ensure that our relief operations will go on and reach our people. We have already spoken to several organizations from here and abroad, some of them from the United Nations and some of them from local organizations, non-government organizations, civil society organizations who are willing to help and assist us in our needs for the province and our people.
Sir, do we have a number as to casualties or people that are missing?
We have yet to confirm. When I left the Nagat Islands yesterday to go to, actually we tried to go to Surigao City first to find if there's connectivity there or any signal for cell phone calls or text or even Wi-Fi. When we found out Surigao City was also devastated by the typhoon, all the electric posts were down. There's no power in the city. There were landslides also, and the mayor. We met with the mayor of Surigao City, and he was very helpful with in allowing us to get some fuel, so that only so we could travel to Butuan, so we could find more resources here. And then our main problem right now is to find more people to help us in establishing our center here for communications and logistics in Butuan. And then eventually, when we are able to get the National Telecommunications Commission and the other agencies to help us in restoring our electricity and communications, we would have better access to support from outside.
Sir, other than those that you mentioned, we understand there's a lot of our countrymen in the evacuation centers. What are their immediate needs? And should there be people that are wanting to send donations, how can they send them?
Yeah. Many of our people are actually not in the evacuation centers anymore because several of our evacuation centers have also lost their roofs, and some were they weren't completely destroyed, but most of the people already returned home to try to rebuild their houses. But we want to set up camps so that people who can't restore their houses can still have a roof over their heads. If we as for the estimate number of people who had damages in their homes, I would say almost all Dinagatnons experience this. Even everyone from all walks of life, rich or poor, middle class, fisher folk, farmers, our business owners, everyone lost something in different degrees. And when it comes to affected population, I would again say all of the Nagatons have experiences, and we have a 128,000 population in the whole province of Dinagat with 7 municipalities and 100 barangays. And we have many barangays in island areas which are harder to reach. So we have to establish ways to access them and communicate with them at the soonest possible time. And we are sure when it comes to ensuring their safety, the municipal, local governments are also in action when it comes to ensuring that basic services are delivered to them. And the provincial government is coordinating with every municipal government as much as possible so we can augment whatever they need.
Well, thank you, Sir Jeff, for sharing with us all those information. And we certainly hope that the people of Dinagat Islands would get all the help that they need and recover very soon. Maraming salamat po and stay safe. That's Mr. Jeff Crisostomo, spokesperson for Dinagat Islands. Now, other provinces were also not spared by Typhoon Odette. Siargao Mayor Alfredo Coro said the famous tourist destination is a total wreck following the landfall of Typhoon Odette. Coro said 95% of the island, which include evacuation centers, are damaged. He is now calling for help for the immediate reconstruction of their temporary shelters. An aerial survey by the military shows damaged houses and fallen trees in the municipality of Dapa. Now, Typhoon Odette also ravaged agricultural lands and inundated residential houses in other areas in the province of Surigao del Norte. Congressman Bingo Matuga said satellite phones and tawag centers are being set up in various municipalities so residents will be able to contact their loved ones. Now, over in Cebu, 9 were reported dead and 5 are missing in Lapu-Lapu City, which is now under a state of calamity. Mayor Ahong Chan also called on the national government to send aid as local funds are insufficient to provide relief. Meanwhile, passengers at the Mactan Cebu International Airport also remain stranded due to flight cancellations. The airport management said they will resume limited domestic flights by 9 in the morning tomorrow. In southern Leyte, Governor Damian Mercado raises the alarm that they will soon be running out of food supplies for affected residents. Mercado said roads are closed and power and communication lines are down in the province since Thursday. Now, at least 4 individuals were confirmed dead in the aftermath of Typhoon Odette. But speaking with us earlier, NDRRMC spokesperson Mark Timbal said the total number of reported casualties has climbed to 31 as of this afternoon. 27 of these are still being verified. Now, 3 individuals are meanwhile injured because of Odette, while 1 person remains missing. Timbal says over 300,000 individuals are staying in evacuation centers. Over 2,200 evacuation centers are currently being utilized across affected regions. Now, the NDRRMC also notes that efforts are ongoing to restore power and network services in affected areas.
So far, we're waiting for the timelines that would come from our counterparts in MGCP and the local power cooperatives, as well as our telco partners who have cell towers in those areas. During the meeting with the president last night, we heard that they're committed to ensure that all efforts will be done to ensure the restoration of those services at the soonest possible time.
So, in other news, some 2.3 million doses were administered in the second leg of the government's mass vaccination drive. Health Undersecretary Mirna Cabotaje said within 3 days, the agency achieved 31% of its target turnout. This is despite the inoculation drive held from December 15 to 17 being hampered by Typhoon Odette. The DOH said it eyes the resumption of the mass inoculation drive next week, particularly in areas affected by the typhoon.
Alam naman natin na yung 3 araw ay naapektuhan ng ating bagyo. But in some regions, maganda yung kanilang turnout. We have a total of 2.3 million doses. Mga 31% yan ang ating total target na 7 million.
Now, as for the COVID-19 case count, the health department logs almost 300 new infections. This brings the total caseload to 2.83 million, 9,900 of which are still active. Over 100 more people died of the virus, hiking the death toll to over 50,600. Now, total recoveries, meanwhile, are at 2.77 million, with 520 new survivors. Less than 1% of the 35,500 tests included in today's bulletin yielded positive results. Now, for more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now, www.signalplay.com, and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.